All right, ever dreamt of like, walking those London streets
Yeah.
or studying at one of those like historic universities
Mm.
or just, I don't know, setting up a whole life across the pond?
Yeah, the UK is calling.
It is.
Mm.
But visas, right.
Visas.
Today we're diving deep
Yeah.
into UK visa financial requirements for 2025.
A big one.
It is.
Yeah.
And we've got this awesome article from newsnowgh.com. They've got all this info on visas and scholarships.
Yeah, that's a great resource.
And work permits. Really good starting point for anyone thinking about,
Absolutely.
making that move.
Yeah.
Honestly, some of these changes, they surprised me.
Yeah.
The UK government, they're tightening things up.
Seems like it.
Probably because of the whole,
Yeah, the economy, right?
economic climate.
Makes sense.
So we're seeing like higher living expenses for student visas,
Yeah.
higher fees across the board, and even tourists are facing more like
Scrutiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really got to show
Yeah.
you can support yourself.
Yeah, that's the key.
Okay, let's start with student visas.
Right.
You're going to London. Be ready to show £1,400 a month for living expenses.
Wow.
That's up from $1,334 this year, almost 5%.
That's a jump.
For the rest of the UK, it's £1,100 a month.
Okay.
Adds up, right?
For sure.
Especially for students on a budget.
Absolutely. And don't forget about tuition.
Oh, right. On top of that living expense.
Yes, first-year tuition.
You got to prove you've got
Yeah.
enough for that, too.
Huge.
Yeah. And there's this sneaky little detail.
Okay.
The 28-day rule
What's that?
for bank statements.
Ah,
You got to prove you've had the money for at least 28 days
Well-
before you even apply.
makes sense.
So if you're applying January 15th, that bank statement
Yeah.
needs to show the money since at least December 18th.
Got it.
No last-minute transfers from mom and dad.
Nope. They're looking for stability,
Yeah.
a financial foundation.
All right, let's talk tourist visas.
Yep.
Now, the article doesn't give a hard number,
Right.
but they emphasize that the UK, they're getting really serious about tourists being able to
Afford it.
afford it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Longer stays, more scrutiny.
Yeah, for sure.
So what kind of documentation really impresses UK immigration? What have you seen work?
Well, I think it's about going beyond just the bank statement.
Right.
You want to show a whole picture of your financial stability.
Oh, okay.
So things like, do you have a steady income? Do you own property, any investments? Those things really add weight to your application.
So it's like proving you're responsible.
Exactly. Shows you're not just going to run out of money.
Gotcha. Makes sense. All right, let's move on to work visas.
Okay.
We'll focus on the skilled worker visa, probably the most common one.
Yeah, definitely.
And here's the magic number.
Oh, yeah.
£1,270.
Wow.
Gotta show that, unless your employer is sponsoring you.
Makes sense.
And there's the global talent visa. No set amount, but you still got to prove you
Sure.
can handle those initial costs.
Right. Getting settled.
Exactly. And then there's the health and care worker visa.
Mm.
If you're sponsored by an approved employer in that sector,
Yeah.
you're exempt from the usual financial requirements.
That's a big one.
It is. Okay, let's talk family visas.
Okay.
Love, commitment, and
Man-
finances. That combined income requirement for partners, spouses,
Yeah,
it's £29,000. That's a big hurdle.
it is.
What pitfalls have you seen couples run into with this?
I'd say the biggest one is documentation. Like, you got to prove that income,
Oh, right.
not just say it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Pay slips, tax returns, bank statements, all of it.
It's almost like building a case for your relationship.
In a way, yeah. You're
Yeah.
showing you're genuine and you can support each other.
And I know there are some exemptions, right?
There are. Like, if you're getting certain disability benefits, and
Oh,
some
yeah.
applications from before April 2024 might have different rules.
Ah, gotcha. And of course, we can't forget about kids.
Mm.
If they're coming too, that adds to the costs.
Absolutely. Planning is key.
Okay, so we've covered student visas, tourist visas,
Mm-hmm.
dipped our toes into work visas, and talked family visas.
Mm-hmm.
One thing's for sure. The UK,
Uh-huh.
they're serious about these financial requirements.
Definitely getting stricter.
And they're only getting stricter in 2025.
Yeah.
But hold on, we're not done yet. In the next part of our deep dive, we're going to dig into the whole documentation thing
Yep.
and maybe even uncover some surprising strategies for meeting those financial thresholds.
Sounds good.
Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, stick around.
Welcome back to our deep dive. We just uncovered all those amounts you need to show for UK visas in 2025.
Oh, it's a lot.
And it's clear the UK's really scrutinizing finances, like
Thorough.
having the money. that's only half the battle. How do
Right.
you prove it?
That's the question.
That's where documentation comes in.
Yeah, that's key.
And that's what we're tackling in this part of the deep dive.
Awesome.
Our guide, that article from newsnowgh.com,
Uh-huh.
they really hammered home this point.
Yeah.
Meticulous documentation. It's non-negotiable.
Really is.
They even compared it to, like, building a case
Okay.
for your visa eligibility.
Yeah, I like that.
Like, each document is a brick.
Makes sense.
Ugh.
So we're building a wall here.
Yeah, we're building a wall.
Right.
What are the essential documents we need? How do they all fit together?
You're essentially telling a story,
Oh, okay.
a financial story
I like that.
to the UK authorities
Mm-hmm.
about your financial history,
Okay.
your ability to support yourself while you're there.
Right, right.
Every document plays a role.
So tell me more about this financial storytelling. What are the key chapters?
Okay, so first, you got to prove you have the funds.
Right.
This is where those bank statements
Mhm.
or savings certificates come in.
Okay.
They're the stars of the show.
Yeah.
They show you've got the resources to cover your expenses.
And that's where that 28-day rule
Oh, yeah.
becomes so important.
It's crucial.
You got to show you've held those funds for at least 28 days
Right.
before you even apply
Consistently.
consistently. So say you're applying on February 10th.
Okay.
Your statement needs to show the money since at least January 13th.
Got it.
It's like showing up to a job interview in sweatpants.
Yeah. No.
You might be qualified,
Yeah.
but you're not making a good first impression.
Not a good look.
Okay, next chapter. Income,
Right.
student visa. You might need to show scholarships, grants, or family support.
Mm.
But for a skilled worker visa,
Yeah.
it's all about proving consistent and sufficient income.
Absolutely.
Payslips, tax returns, employer letters, all that.
Yep. All the official stuff.
The UK wants to see you're earning enough to support yourself.
Yeah. They don't want you relying on public funds.
Right, financial independence.
Exactly.
Now, what about family visas? What documents do they need?
You need to prove the relationship.
Okay.
Any legal documents that
Yep.
show your connection.
So birth certificates, marriage certificates,
Yeah.
adoption papers.
Mm-hmm. Anything official?
Okay, so you're telling a story about your finances
Yes.
and your relationships,
Right.
showing you're coming as a unit,
Exactly.
financially stable.
And genuine.
This is a lot of paperwork.
It can
Where do you even begin?
start early
Oh, good advice.
and stay organized.
Yeah.
Make a checklist
Okay.
based on your visa category.
Gotcha.
Don't wait till the last minute.
Right. Yeah.
And don't be afraid to ask for help.
Good point. Now, our article mentioned something interesting.
Yeah.
Even if you don't perfectly meet every financial requirement,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't necessarily mean your application is boomed.
That's true.
There are exceptions.
Yeah, sometimes.
They specifically mentioned human rights cases.
Right.
What kind of situations would that be?
So imagine a family seeking asylum
Okay.
because of persecution.
Right.
Or maybe a couple applying for a family visa
Yeah.
and one partner can't work because of a medical condition.
Ah, I see.
These are situations where the UK might waive some requirements.
So it's not just about the numbers.
It's about the whole picture.
There's a human element to it.
There is.
Have you seen any examples of this where someone didn't initially meet the criteria?
Yeah. I had a case.
Yeah.
This young woman was applying for a student visa,
Okay.
master's degree.
Mm-hmm.
She had a partial scholarship,
Right.
but couldn't show the full amount for living expenses.
Oh, okay.
But her story was really compelling.
What do you mean?
She had overcome a lot of adversity,
Wow.
amazing grades, super involved in her community.
So they saw beyond just the finances.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
She wrote a personal statement,
Oh, okay.
explained her situation, her goals,
Mm-hmm.
and her commitment to the UK.
Wow.
And they gave her the visa.
Even though she didn't meet the full financial requirement.
Yeah.
That's really inspiring.
It shows the power of a good application.
Yeah.
It's not just ticking boxes.
It's telling your story.
It is.
So as we wrap up this part, meticulous documentation.
Yeah.
It's crucial.
Absolutely.
But it's not just about numbers.
Yeah.
It's about telling a complete story.
Your story.
Her story about your finances, your relationships,
Mm.
and your circumstances.
Don't be afraid to share.
Don't be afraid to share. Now, in part 3, we're going to uncover a surprising strategy for meeting those financial requirements.
Ooh. I'm intrigued.
It involves savings,
Okay.
but it's not as simple as you might think.
Can't wait to hear it.
Stay tuned. All right, we're back for the final part of our UK visa deep dive. We've covered so much ground, from those specific financial requirements to the whole documentation game.
Mm-hmm. It's been intense.
But just when I thought we'd cracked the code,
Yeah.
our News Now GH article threw in this little twist.
Oh,
It mentioned using savings instead of income to meet those financial thresholds.
interesting.
It caught my eye too. So tell me,
Yeah.
when does this savings-based strategy actually work, and what are the downsides? What should people watch out for?
Well, it can be a real game changer for people who don't have that traditional steady income,
Right.
like freelancers, entrepreneurs,
Mm-hmm.
maybe someone who just inherited some money.
Yeah, makes sense.
They might have a lump sum, but not regular paychecks.
So in those cases, showing savings can be more effective.
Exactly. It proves you can support yourself
Mhm.
even without that steady income stream.
It's like a secret weapon.
Kinda. Yeah.
But I'm guessing there are rules.
Oh, absolutely.
Can't be that easy.
There are always rules.
So what are we dealing with here?
Well, the article mentioned these guidelines called Appendix FM,
Appendix FM, okay.
and they're very specific about how you document and hold those savings.
So it's not just about having a big bank balance.
Nope, not that simple.
What else do you need?
Well, those savings need to have been held for a while, usually at least 6 months.
Okay, so they're looking for
Like,
longevity. Yeah.
and you got to prove where that money came from.
Oh, right, like a paper trail. Exactly. Property sales, investments, gifts, inheritance.
So be ready to explain everything.
Everything with documentation.
Wow, it's like a financial interrogation.
In a way, yeah.
But there's got to be a catch.
Well, one thing to consider is
Yeah.
what happens after you get the visa.
Oh, right, the real world,
You might have drained your savings just to meet the requirements.
leaving you with nothing.
Exactly. And living in the UK can be expensive.
Yeah, especially London.
So you need to balance meeting those visa requirements
Yeah.
with having enough to actually live.
It's a tough balance.
It is, but it's crucial.
So don't just focus on getting the visa. Think long term.
Think about your life in the UK.
Have a plan.
Have a plan.
Well, that brings us to the end of our UK visa deep dive.
Wow, we covered a lot.
We did. We explored those financial requirements, learned about documentation, and even uncovered this whole savings strategy.
Pretty comprehensive.
But this was just a taste.
A starting point.
Exactly.
Oh.
Always do your own research, check those official sources. Yeah, things change all the time.
And don't be afraid to get professional advice if you need it.
Good advice.
The UK might seem far away, but with careful planning and the right information,
Yeah,
that dream can totally become a reality.
absolutely.
So go for it. Explore your options.
Yeah, what are you waiting for?
And until our next deep dive,
Yeah.
happy travels, everyone.